Coming up in this episode of Finding Common Ground.
You're not going to get nominated to even run. So he was censored by the Guilford County Republican Party.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I haven't heard the word censored by the Republican Party, Guilford County, in a long time, other than you.
I'm actually going to put it on my tombstone.
Oh, okay.
Here's a censored Republican. Rest in peace.
There are two sides to every coin.
How do we deal with racial issues when they affect relationships?
Finding common ground on all those issues that we come against.
There's black and there's white.
And I think as Christians, we have to learn how to get together because we're not in heaven.
I've met more interesting people just by God just bringing them in.
Republicans and Democrats.
But a lot of times, when it comes to race and it comes to culture and it comes to perception, even as Christians, we don't always understand. We look at it through our lenses.
There's Bill.
I grew up in a suburb of Cleveland called Parma.
Any black people in Palmer?
There was not one.
Not one black person,
Not
Bill?
one.
Come
Not
on, Bill.
one.
You got to have one. A
Nope.
token black person? A token?
And there's Odell.
I grew up in Charleston, South Carolina, public housing, single mom, divorced single mom of 4 kids. And I came up through segregation and all that kind of stuff.
If a black person drove through the town, the police would stop and escort them out.
Bill and Odell are finding common ground.
A part of what we have to do is listen to each other, find the common ground, and question, not questioning you like you're on a witness stand, but questioning you for a better understanding. Father God, we just come to you in the precious name of Jesus Christ. We just thank you for grace and mercy. And as we continue to transition in this thing called life, we just ask you to continue to cover us and keep us. And God, we pray for all the soldiers. We pray for this great country that we call America, the greatest country in the world at this time. So God, we say thank you. Pray for the soldiers. As I stated earlier, in the soldiers' families, God. Many people coming back in caskets. Many people are given the ultimate for their country. So we just say thank you. In Jesus' name we pray and believe. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the grace that you've shown us, the hiatus we took, the time off we took for Odell and I. We had a lot going on, and we just thank you for getting us through that period. We're excited, Lord, to use this podcast in your glory. Lord, thank you for my brothers that are here, Marty and Odell, and Kelly, who'll be here next month. And we ask for blessings on all of our families and keep us safe. Amen.
Heavenly Father, thank you for this time together and the freedoms we enjoy in this country. Give us wisdom to speak honestly, courage to defend what's right, and humility to remember that we don't have all the answers. Help us focus on what we can control, our own actions, our discipline, and our character, and leave the rest in your hands. Bless our communities, our state, and this nation, and guide those in leadership to act with integrity and wisdom. Amen.
Amen.
You know, when you think about certain things, and the first thing that comes to my mind is that our good friend Kelly's not here. So we're going to pull a Clint Eastwood. We're going to have an empty chair, and that chair is going to be Kelly. So we know what Kelly might be saying, and if he doesn't say it, we're going to say it for him and attribute it to him. But, you know, when you think about it, the war and everything that's going on in this country, it just makes you wonder. It's not the first time, and it won't be the last. But Bill, Odell, Maverick, it make you wonder if it was my son, if it was my daughter. And you have to take sides. You can't just say it doesn't matter, because it does. You have the midterms coming up. So we're going to talk about a whole lot of different things. We're going to talk about gas prices, talk a little bit about retirement, and just all the different things. But again, you know, we have Pete, make sure I say the name right, Hegsteth, am I not mistaken, with the Defense Department. We got a lot of people, man, in positions making a lot of decisions that affecting a lot of lives. What say you say, Maverick? What say you say, Maverick? I pulled up, y'all, and Maverick's driving a Tesla. And I said, okay, well, that makes sense, but we'll see. Maverick, what say you? Did you get me riding your Tesla?
So, yeah, I mean, I love it. Gosh, what a great truck, and all American made. You know, to have a truck that's 6,000 pounds that will tow 11,000 pounds and go 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds and put a smile on your face the whole way is just amazing American engineering. And I'm proud that we've got that sort of car company here in the U.S. So I love it. It's been great.
What kind of colors is it coming? I've seen it in brown.
Stainless steel, or stainless steel.
That's it?
Yeah, you can get them wrapped.
Oh,
yeah, so people
that's
wrap them,
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You see, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Yes, sir.
But I actually take my 4-wheel drives off road. And so a stainless steel makes a lot of sense for that. So you're not scratching your paint the way you would with a PPF film or a painted car. So I really like it. It's growing on me. At first, I thought I was only going to wrap it, but now I like it with the stainless steel. It's definitely, it has been the best car I've ever had. I really enjoy it. Would you consider a Tesla, or have you gone through the full self-drive of the Tesla? Because that really is the magic for any of them.
I would not consider one at this time. However, a couple months ago, I said I would never really dive into AI, and now ChatGPT is my best friend. I mean, but I have to be careful because it's addictive. I can sit in my office and just kind of work through a problem. The next thing I know, I'm 3 hours in that ChatGPT is talking to me, and I'm talking to it, and we're yelling at each other. And I just don't like when they try to blow smoke up my behind and say, "Oh, Reverend Cleveland, that's the best idea I ever heard." I said, "No, no. It's time to change the settings because ChatGPT is laying it on thick."
So in all the Teslas, what's neat is beyond full self-driving, it has Grok built in. And so you can sit there and talk to it while you're driving along, and you can tell it, "Hey, I want to stop at a Starbucks along the way. And I'm going to Charlotte. I need to hit a Starbucks. I need to stop by a Target," whatever you're going to do. It'll map all that out for you. And then you have a conversation about, "Well, I'm really looking for this product," and it'll tell you about that product and go through it. Or, "Hey, I've got this ache in my shoulder," and it has like a Dr. Grok mode and everything.
Wow.
But the funniest part is it has a conspiracy mode. So you can ask it and it will sound like a total conspiracy nut job when it's talking to you. It's hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
It's got story time. It's been really fun. Yeah. I mean, it's designed it's a car company run by people with a sense of humor too. Yeah.
But Marty, you a hardcore guy though. You the Maverick, man. The Maverick is story time. Say it ain't so, Maverick. Say it ain't so.
Hey, when I drive off road or when I drive through the snow, and it's a pretty hardcore truck. It's great. Yeah. It does all kinds of stuff.
Dory's Tesla X has a mode that it dances. The music comes on, the wings go up to music. And I thought that was so cool that the engineers had fun with that we could show off, guy came up with a Maserati at a party, and I said, he was talking about it, and he was pretty proud of it. I said, "But does it dance?" And he goes, "What are you talking about?" And so I showed him. He goes, "Damn, I don't have that." And that thing, what do you call that? That's
Cyber Beast.
But that tells you where Starbucks is.
Rock. Yeah.
I could use that because I need to know every bathroom between here and Raleigh. Because as old as I am, I have to stop a lot.
Oh, it'll map it out for you. It really is amazing. But the full self-drive, I did not realize. I'd seen people do it before, but until you're in the seat and you push this button and you take your hands off the wheel, your feet off the pedals, it's like having somebody drive you. I mean, it really is
it's
incredible.
That good, huh?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. I mean, it's in the same way that you've gotten now into ChatGPT. Once you do full self-drive, it's really hard to go back. I mean, once you get that mode, I mean, it's really relaxed.
Did you feel nervous about it?
I did for the first week. Yeah. I was really paranoid about it. I had my hands near the wheel.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, gosh, I could, take a nap while I'm driving theoretically. I mean, they don't have the full autonomous where you can't look ahead.
Yeah.
But they will pretty soon. And then it'll be, just incredible.
Well, it's like autopilot with a plane. When you
absolutely.
put an autopilot with a plane, it just flies itself. And then when you get ready to land, you can let it land itself. If you want.
Bill, do you use AI?
Oh yeah, a lot. I'll tell you a story. We were applying for a grant for Homeland Creamery, and one of the things they wanted was strategic plan, and we had partial one done, but we didn't have it when we applied for the grant. So we just said we'll have it by the end of the year. This was last Thanksgiving, and they called us. The grant people called and said, "Hey, we're going to review your grant the week of Thanksgiving." and they called us 3 o'clock on a Friday.
Wow.
And they said, we need your strategic plan 5 o'clock Monday. And so they called Star, and Star freaked out, thinking, "Oh my gosh, how are we going to do this?" I said, "Not a problem." I went on ChatGPT for the weekend. I mean, I could tell who the demographics were, what the price points were. It would drill down to the county level, to the state level, to the counties we want to sell it, what retailers we sell, what price point, who are the competitors. I mean, any question you wanted to ask, it'd give you a ton of data. Now you had to filter through that to use what you wanted.
Yeah.
But I was within probably 10 hours of work to do an entire strategic plan for them. And it's amazing.
So many people say that AI will not replace or take your job. However, Maverick, the person who uses AI will replace your job. So do we need a chauffeur if self-driving? Bill, do we need administrative people if we're doing this ourselves? And when you think about the war, if we have this level of excellence with AI, what do you think our military have as far as pinpoint accuracy and all those good stuff, sirs?
Yeah. So we actually just hired a provost, Magnus Egerstedt, at Carolina, whose research is around swarm drones. Not for military application, but just autonomous drones for how they work together. And I think that is the future of warfare. And I think
Absolutely.
it's frankly the future of manufacturing, everything else, and even driving. You can imagine if all the cars are talking to each other, you can eliminate traffic.
Yep.
If it's routing through. So I'm really excited about some of the stuff he's going to be working on, and our students studying things like that, and our professors researching topics.
I was listening to another podcast about drones.
You listen to another podcast, Bill?
Yes.
You cheated on us, Bill.
And it was about drones, and got my interest because what they talked about was the value Ukraine now has in drone warfare. They've had over 100,000 drones come to them. They figured out how to have killer drones, all kinds of other drones, take out other drones, and they're well ahead of everybody in the technology. So right now, they said, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and all the rest of them, Qatar, they're having a hard time because these drones are getting through and hitting them. Well, where do they want to go to get the drone information is Ukraine. Well, Ukraine needs money to buy more warfare products. So there may be an alliance between the money of the Middle East Gulf states and Ukraine for drone information. And all of a sudden now the balance of power is starting to change. Where before they were all getting beat up. Now they've got all this drone stuff. The other thing they said was Trump taking over Venezuela oil, and now Iranian oil being stopped. China needs oil. They don't have oil. They have to buy it. And their two biggest customers besides Russia were Iran and Venezuela. Now they are down big time on that. And so you start thinking about, okay, how do you get China? Where do you hurt China? Well, in energy. They don't have enough to keep their economy going. And oil's a big part of it.
Well, what's the latest on Greenland? It's just so much sometimes that I kind of not tune out, but I just have to turn away from my own sanity sometimes. How do you keep your sanity? And maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just a good-looking black guy. I don't know. But how do you deal with a lot of things every day, Maverick? You look at prime rate is 6.7% right now. I think mortgage rates are under 5%. But the housing market is still somewhat frozen. Take it from a guy who has 2 houses, who wish he had one. So, so how do you deal with all this? Because you move so much product. When I say product, meaning that you have so much capacity as far as rental units and just all the things you do. How do you handle that?
So one of the things I found a lot of comfort in is the Stoic philosophy. So Marcus Aurelius meditations, and reading through that and really focusing on the things. And there's a lot of different concepts out there from, religious philosophies embrace this as well. people that are going through AA embrace this idea of focusing on what's within your control and your own actions and your own efforts and your own discipline, and ignore what you can't control, or not necessarily ignore it, but don't let it drive your mental state, thinking about politics and markets and other people and what other people think or say. All of that is outside of your control. And if you can pull it back into what's within your control and constantly kind of focus on improving yourself and your skills, then you tune out a lot of those other things, your own relationship with God. I mean, lots of things that I think are more important, and people get caught up in all the noise out there a lot of times, and especially now. So I think that's the way to navigate that.
With so much social media coming to us, and you heard Kelly earlier rattling off all the headlines. Years ago, you only got a headline from the newspaper and Walter Cronkite, right? That was it. And now, man, we could pull up our phone. We can go to BBC, CNN. I mean, just Fox. You got all this stuff, and they're all putting a little different spin on it, and you can get overwhelmed. And like you said with your ChatGPT, you get in there and it just sucks you in because you want to learn more. You want to learn more.
Yeah.
You want to learn more. It's not that you're bored. It's really, you just like at the end you're exhausted.
But Bill, help me with this one though. Michael Jordan sues NASCAR, wins the lawsuit, and now winning the first. Help, Bill, you're a NASCAR guy. How does all that work?
I was at Charlotte Motor Speedway today. I was having a hamburger in their club overlooking the racetrack. And I wasn't aware of that Michael Jordan deal. What happened? He sued him because of what?
I think it was some kind of revenue sharing. You all don't hold me to what I'm saying. Allegedly.
Let me go and chat.
Yes, it was some kind of revenue sharing split, something like that.
Okay.
And Michael and some others sued NASCAR. More importantly, I think the old guards in NASCAR, and they settled. And it's like, wait a minute, you're going to come and sue, and now your race team is winning?
Yeah.
And NASCAR is such a big market. How do you think that's going to, well, you're not Nostradamus, but how do you think this is going to play out for Michael?
Well, I think what I think, I remember reading something about this, and what it was is revenue sharing for the TV rights. That's where the money is. It's not, they don't make money at the racetracks anymore like they used to. In fact, it was interesting when I went there, they used to have the other side of the track full of stands. They're gone because they're not getting the crowds.
Wow.
And so the TV rights is where the money is. And I suspect that NASCAR was keeping the majority of it, not sharing it with the drivers and the owners. And they're the ones putting on the show. And because they're putting on the show, they probably felt the cut wasn't right.
Well, you're seeing a lot of that. I mean, we saw that in college sports with NIL.
Yeah.
I think you're seeing a lot of pushback, and it goes back to a core concept in North Carolina. When you look at Article 1, Section 1 of our Constitution, and we talk about you're endowed with certain inalienable rights, you're one of those first three listed is the fruits of their labor. And it's the idea that, if you're working or you accumulate property or you accumulate money or wealth or anything like that, or you're trying to earn a living, someone else can't take that away from you, especially the government, and regulate it out. And so I think you're seeing a lot of cases pop up in North Carolina and across the country where folks like Pacific Legal Foundation are fighting for people's rights to make sure they have the right to be, let's say, a hairdresser, not be limited from the government saying you can't be because you've got to do these certain steps in order to have
Make
this.
it difficult to get into it. Yeah.
And really a lot of that is typically driven, like in the NASCAR side, from others that want to control it and keep that income rather than letting someone else come in and have the free competition.
Yeah.
And so, I think that cutting out barriers to allow people to add value and earn an income is critical.
Yeah, it's a good old boys network in NASCAR. It's gotten to the point now you can't come into NASCAR without a huge sponsor. I mean, you got to have big bucks behind you. You can, if you have a small sponsor, you're not going to win races.
You think it ever get to the point where Marty could put his self-driving Tesla truck in a NASCAR race? You think they ever go with that, Bill?
Well, I can
Doesn't
tell
go
you,
fast enough.
his will, out of the box, yours is probably faster.
Like a 0 to 60, but those cars go a whole lot faster on the top end. Now, maybe the new Tesla Roadster that's like $250,000, but we'll see
Do you
what
have one
that
on
does. No, no, my days of sports cars, I think, are over.
Yeah,
I think,
and I think you only get one color in it too. I don't think you don't have many options.
yeah, well, they'll probably have more options for that one. Well, I don't know. Don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
Hasn't been on my radar.
We have to ask Roy Carroll, our good friend Roy Carroll, about this. Talk about gas prices. I saw your Tesla and the wheels are bigger than my head. The wheels are just huge. But I'm sure you get, what kind of gas? Do you use gas? Diesel?
Well,
What is it?
When I bought mine, it includes free supercharging for life. So I can charge it.
There's no gas.
much
So
as
you
I
don't
want.
even,
Now, I
I
charge it at my house for convenience. So I have a charger there, and I've got a charger that I'm installing at my office too. But yeah, I can pull into any Tesla supercharger and charge for free.
Yeah, Dory has the same thing, and but we put solar panels on our house, and so we use that to charge it up.
Yeah.
And as long as it's sunny, you can do it.
So do some of the Tesla vehicles, or maybe it's not Tesla, but some of the EVs, are they combos, hybrids? Like you could use gas? Or
Yeah,
maybe-
no,
Yeah.
I like the idea of that. I wouldn't mind a small motor as part of this that could
Okay.
charge you if you really needed to, just because there's sometimes where you're somewhere where you're not going to have it and you get this range anxiety. And if you had the ability to pull in, put a little bit of gas in and have it take you, 20 miles, that would be great.
Yeah, I agree with that. There are some that have that. The electric motor isn't very big. It's mainly the gas engine. I have a hybrid, and I get like 32 miles to the gallon with that, and I love it.
Now you can theoretically do it if you put a generator in the back of the Tesla. You can carry it around
I
and
didn't
charge
think
your own
about
truck.
that. Yeah.
I have thought about it.
Oh,
And
listen,
they've got trailer hitch mounted ones, so I've thought about that as an
that thing
option.
can pull some weight, can it?
Yeah.
What do you think about the midterm, gentlemen? The midterms are coming. What do you think about the midterms? You think we're good? We're not good? And when I say we, I'm not talking about a party or anything. I'm just talking about the systemic system. Will the system hold? Will the voting system in America hold through the midterms?
Well, I'm a judge at our precinct,
Okay,
and I've been
congratulations,
I've
my
been
friend.
so you can call me the judge.
Okay.
Doesn't work too well with Chief Justice Newby.
Which precinct did you work?
32 down at Claxton Elementary.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to be chief judge at some point. And there's a lot to it. I mean, it is not an easy thing, some of the procedures you have. And after going through the training twice now, I was very, very impressed how thorough the safety systems are on this. You'd have to be really, really, really somehow, and I don't think it's even possible, skilled to do it in Guilford County.
But Bill, you said something to me not years ago, a while back. We were talking about Phil Berger and Sam Page, and you said, Odell, you have to watch that one. That one's tricky.
Yep.
You call that one. What made you feel, and can you let the listening audience who don't know what we're talking about, because Phil Berger, and many would say, was the most powerful man in the state, including the governor, excuse me. What you call that one? What did you see when you told me a long time ago, Odell?
Good question. I actually saw Marty Kotis on TV shaking his hand. I saw
I
that
was
when
at the
he
watch party.
Yeah, he was at the watch
I actually
party.
worked the polls for Senator Berger up in Summerfield. So I picked the Lions Den to go.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
So I was there. It was a cold day too.
Yeah, it was.
Warmed up later in the week, but it was
in the
cold.
morning. That was cold.
I had hand warmers I had in my hand. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it's it is and we'll see because it's not over yet, right? So you had 2 votes separating them. You had some provisionals come in. They'll do the
Military.
the count of the military votes, I think by March 13th. And then it's well within, you got a 1%. I think it's 0.008 or something like that. So they'll do a recount and see. So who knows what will happen. But if people in this area are stupid enough to elect Sam Page over Senator Berger, yeah, you just can't fix stupid sometimes, because to have the most powerful person in your state representing this area, I don't care if it's Mark Bassanite from back in the day, but to have someone here that is the most powerful person in the state representing this area, which means the airport, which means the road systems, which means the schools, which means the hospitals, everything else, and to pick some Yahoo that goes around and basically just glad hands all over the county. It's insane. I mean, it's just totally insane.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Well, I think the Achilles heel was that casino. I think the timing, the decision to do a casino, I think it made sense from the standpoint he was trying to help his county. He saw the revenue that they're getting up in Danville.
But was it really because Sam Page worked on Trump's campaign? I don't know. Does Trump own a casino or two or three or a bunch or support them?
Well,
has Trump pushed for, medical marijuana, all that? I mean, the voters here that say they were voting against gambling and things like that are just full of it. Yeah. I mean, that's just full of it to say that. And then those same voters support President Trump. I mean, it's a false argument.
I think Phil was pretty smart. He didn't get the budget. He just left the budget alone because he didn't want to give any ammunition to anybody. I think that was a smart move. He probably should have done the same thing with the casino.
I think the budget is more driven by the House on that, based on tax triggers. Yeah. And so Senator Berger is someone that when you ask him what he thinks, he tells you. If he has conviction, he sticks by it. And they have for several years negotiated with the House to make sure that, okay, we're going to have the spending, but we're going to set this budget and we're going to set these tax triggers, and these are going to kick in place. And our goal is to make this a competitive tax environment. And, he has honored everything he said he would do. And what's happened now is people are retrading on that. Mm-hmm. And that's why we don't have a budget, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, that's true. That is absolutely true, what you just described. They have a mechanism where that when people say they don't have a budget, they really do have a budget. They just have last year's. So if you have a reoccurring budget item, you just keep using the same number you used last year, which obviously people can live with because they made it through a year.
Well, think about it. Roy Cooper against Michael Whatley. He was on a program when I used to do a TV show. Whatley was on that. Smart guy.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, but I don't know if he can beat Roy. Roy has statewide appeal. What do you all think?
I think Roy or former Governor Cooper has kept his head down a lot of times, and he pops up and he does different things. But, I don't see him. Yeah, I had some experience with him through UNC, mm-hmm. and I was not pleased with how he dealt with things. I mean, he would leak things out to the media like he did before a Silent Sam protest back in the day. Mm. And it put people at risk. It was unnecessary, and it was purely for political points. So I think he's a complete political animal. I think he keeps his head down. People only see what he wants them to see, mm-hmm. and not very different from someone like Senator Berger. And I have a lot of respect for Michael Whatley. I think he is very intelligent. He is someone that is hardworking, and he really wants America to succeed, and he wants North Carolina to succeed. And he understands that we have to have an environment, which we have had for the last bit, where people are investing in the U.S., they're investing in North Carolina. And what gets me is people will move here and then want to bring New York or California value. They're like, oh, I love North Carolina, I want to move there. Now let me get there and change it, and like that is the worst thing.
That's happening. You're
because
right.
It's not, they moved here because they liked everything here, and then they want to change it. And so I hope that Michael Whatley and I hope that our state legislature can hold together and keep the environment that we've got here. And because we're number one. We're number one for new business investment
absolutely
in the country. We've been that way for 4 years. And why anybody would want to change that is just beyond me.
And our tax rates going down.
Right. Yeah. Well, Bill, why did Tom Tillis jump off the wagon?
he had some county Republicans that were against him. And I think once he bucked Trump, he knew Trump was going to put a guy against him. So he said, I've been here long enough. It's time to tap out. He'll go do something else. And now he's free to speak, and he does. I think he's been effective more so after he announced that he wasn't going to run than he was before, because he was trying to maneuver and navigate everything, which is difficult in Washington. I mean, you've got so many lobbyists coming at you, and then you've got, the problem with both parties is if you don't get the primary, and you got to suck up to the people that are radical in each party to get that primary, and they represent 20% at least of the primaries, you're not going to get nominated to even run. So I think he saw that. I think he saw that, they were going to put Cooper against him. I mean, he was censored by the Guilford County Republican Party.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I haven't heard the word censored by the Republican Party, Guilford County, in a long time, other than you. So are you still, how long does a censorship last?
I'm actually going to put it on my tombstone.
Oh, okay.
Here's a censored Republican. Rest in peace.
Well, the gentleman who's over the Guilford County Republicans has his own podcast now.
Have you listened to it?
No, sir.
Have you listened to it, Marty?
I have not, but I will.
Yeah.
I'll make sure to listen in.
What's the name of it?
I don't even know, but it's a snooze. It's pretty awful.
Oh,
Yeah,
Bill, tell us how you really feel.
No, I mean, the guest he has on are, way out there with viewpoints like Moms for Liberty and people like that want to ban books. And he doesn't have the Odell personality. Let me put it that way. They can bring things to life. But give him credit for trying. I don't even know if it's still on.
I'm sure it's still on.
Is it asked you to be on it?
No, I did not
Marty,
get an invite.
I think the three of us should go on it.
I did not.
Bring Kelly.
I didn't get an invite. Speaking of lobbyists, you mentioned lobbyists. Our previous mayor, I think she went and joined your buddy John Hardister and Sebastian King, and that's a power. You've used them before, correct?
Yeah, we've used Sebastian for a couple things, and John, and I understand Pat Tillman's joining them too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're doing that to diversify their outreach so they can reach
Absolutely.
Other politicians on different sides of the aisle.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they're going to be bipartisan as much as they can.
And they have different issues that people come up with that align with one side or the other.
Yeah. I think they'll do good. I mean, they can represent, and I've walked the halls as you have, and almost all the senators and House members will see you and listen to you, and it doesn't mean they're going to do anything, but they're going to listen to you. So I found that, we're in the process now of trying to get school access for scouting. So that's been something that we've been working on. So I'll be in the halls walking with Sebastian and see if we can get that thing past the finish line.
Are you doing that at the state or federal level?
State level, but I'd like to do it at federal.
Yeah.
I think at the federal.
And they do work at the federal level too.
Yeah.
So
we had a window to do it when Trump first term. Because he had 4 Eagle Scouts on his cabinet.
Wow.
And Rex Tillerson, the guy from Texas, and one other guy, I can't remember the other guy. But right now, Trump's motto is no more Boy Scouts on his cabinet.
Really?
Yeah, no Scouts.
Huh.
No comment.
Yeah.
Marty, let's go back
strange.
to yeah. Well, yeah. Marty, let's go back to something. Let's go back to Sam Page.
Yeah.
And Phil Berger. I thought, Bill, that was a done deal, but you're saying no, it's not.
Oh, no.
So it's going to be hanging chads, recounting votes. And the thing about it, Sheriff Sam Page is doing a victory lap, and Phil Berger's just laying low. What's that all about?
Because he knows that you don't know. I mean, that's the whole thing. He was not calling it one way or the other during the, up in Reidsville at the Penn residence up there. He wasn't calling it one way or the other. And that's just the way he is. He's a very cool, calm, stays frosty sort of guy.
Very pragmatic. Very pragmatic.
And Page gets 2 votes ahead and he's saying he's won. I mean, it's that should tell you everything. But if you watch the debates between them, you can see the difference.
There was no debate.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's just night and day between the candidates. And I still can't believe it. And if Sam Page wins, good for him. That's his right to win. And if people support him, that's democracy out there. But I am a Senator Berger supporter, and I am not a Sam Page supporter. I'm fine with that. So
Midterms. What do you think about midterms, gentlemen? Midterms coming up. The House is in play. The Senate is in play. A lot of stuff's in play. What's going on, Mr. Goebel, sir?
It all depends on the economy. It's all about the economy. If the economy's doing well, the Republicans should do okay.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not, they're going to have an uphill fight.
No, the war doesn't matter. The war.
No, I think the war is, a lot of people feel that was a good thing.
Interesting. I always thought that the war usually gets more complex and complicated when the bodies start returning home in caskets, draped out of the car, off the airports, and that's the key.
Let me just share something with that. I was going down to Dallas for a Boy Scout meeting, and I flew. Where did I fly through? I can't remember which city I flew through, but they had a color guard. I saw all these military guys standing at attention in the airport. Mm-hmm. I was saying, "What's going on?" And they said, "They're taking a soldier back home." And I happened to sit at the window, and the reason the color guard was there was the family.
Uh-huh.
The body was outside in a casket with a flag, and there was another color guard out there that carried the casket and did all that. And they delayed the flight because they were doing a ceremony there, putting them on the plane. And then when we got there at the airport in Dallas, they had the fire trucks shooting over the top, and we had to wait on the plane while they took the body out. And another color guard took them up. The family got off the plane, went down with the body, and they transported it. So there was a couple soldiers on. And I said, what's the story? And he says, "Oh, we have special forces dying all the time. You just don't know it." And so we've been losing people. It just isn't as prominent as it isn't when you're in war. And he was special forces. No telling where he was when he was. He could have been in Africa, the Middle East, Asia. I mean, you don't know where these guys. South America, Mexico. We've got special forces all over the world taking care of bad guys. And some of our folks get killed.
I think that's a great point, Bill, is, Iran has long been considered the number one state sponsor of terrorism. Mm-hmm. And they have proxy groups fighting for them all over the world against our folks.
Absolutely.
And when you start thinking about a state sponsor that has legitimately tried to kill our president, that, many people believe, and I think this is true too, has folks in the U.S. ready to activate. There's been a lot of discussion recently about whether or not a transmission that went out is an activation call for sleeper cells. You got to deal with that threat. If you got somebody putting pit bulls on every corner ready to take you out chanting death to America, and they're not planning to do that by direct warfare. They're planning to do that through terrorism. Mm-hmm. When you have all that happening, you have to cut the head off the snake. And I think that's what President Trump has done. And, it's a tough move. And I really hate that anybody would have to die on our side for that. Mm. And I hate that any civilians would have to die on the Iranian side for that. But, we have, when you're dealing with that sort of proxy warfare and those sorts of groups, You've got to deal with them at some point. Otherwise, you let them build up enough, and eventually they will do something that you'll say, well, why didn't we do something sooner?
Mm-hmm.
And that, frankly, that's what we're doing. Like at UNC, in a couple of weeks, we'll have our budget meeting, and we're allocating funds to a live response center and additional cameras. We're trying to harden the target because, schools that are gun-free zones are targets.
Absolutely. A lot of soft targets.
And so, how do we take that soft target and make it a hard target?
Mm-hmm.
And schools and hospitals, those are like the main ones.
Churches,
retirements, churches.
Yeah.
Not churches in Texas, but, churches in other parts of the country.
They're carrying guns in Texas.
Odell, are you gonna start packing at church?
Church's been packing for the last 4 years since we put it in the budget. It's very expensive, but yeah, that's not certain churches you don't want to roll up in there. Let me just say it like that.
Yeah. I was with, we do this thing called a Fabregan, and it's a group. You guys should come to it. It's at the Chabad, which is on Friendly Avenue. And it's a group of guys that get together, Jewish and non-Jewish. And we have drinks and cigars, and some people don't smoke. And we just have fellowship. And sometimes we get as many as 20 people. And the rabbi comes out, and he may do a little lesson on the Torah, which is more thought-provoking than more than a sermon, and so it generates a lot of good discussion around it. But I often thought we're a soft target. Real.
Oh, yeah.
You're not packing, Goble?
I am packing.
Okay.
Well,
I mean,
you're not supposed to if you have a drink.
So you say they're soft target, not my man Goble. Bill, like,
I'm having a cigar.
Okay.
And so I'm sitting there, I've got my girlfriend in the container next to me. And I mentioned to one of the guys that, we're a soft target. And he was packing. And he's a gun instructor. And he goes to the range twice a week. And so we started talking about what kind of gun you carrying, what kind of bullets. And he said, well, if somebody comes in, how do you want to handle it? And I said, well, I'm going to probably give you my gun because he's that good.
So what are you carrying?
9mm with self-defense bullets.
Yeah, sure.
And I carry an extra couple cartridges.
Yeah.
And so I carry that, and then he's there. So we started talking. I said, because I have an Israeli flag out front. He said, if you get any static? I said, oh, yeah, I get a text from some people. And in fact, I just got one. He goes, you need to report that. You need to report it. And I said, well, I don't even know what you're talking about. He says, yeah, there's a group of Israeli security people that we send all those to.
Wow.
And they log them in, and then they keep an eye on it. And if it's a threat, they turn it over to the authorities. I just got one yesterday.
Well, I think the best thing you can do for uncertain times and violent people around you is prepare yourself.
Absolutely.
And I've gone, I guess about a month ago, I went up to 6 Hour and spent 5 days up at their academy training. Great folks.
Where is that?
It's in Exeter, New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and that's where you were when I was texting you.
Yes, I picked the wrong time to go. It snowed like 6 inches. And then 2 days of that, we were out on the range. And let me tell you, a metal gun with bare hands in cold weather with snow is not so much fun. I had hand warmers, so I was able to warm up. The instructors had these muffs where they were able to stick their hands in. I'm like, I have to buy me a muff next time if I'm going to go up there and do that.
Yeah, but, like football players, those muffs.
Yeah. So, but I think, polishing up on skills and getting better at what you use. A lot of people, I think guns sometimes are a false sense of security if people don't use them enough.
You got to know how to use it.
Otherwise all you're going to do is just tick somebody off if you don't know how to use your gun.
Took a couple of Jewish friends to the range here, and I took out some of my guns because they were thinking of buying a gun. So I had different types of guns, revolver, and there was a group next to us shooting, and it was two couples, and they had the little targets, that it has like 6 little targets on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had the big one with the guy, right? And I'm thinking if I can just hit parts of the body, I'm pretty good. And then you move it down further and you do it. These guys, they had the small targets, and the center part was blown out.
Yeah.
I was like, holy cow. That is a guy who knows how to shoot a gun. And I got to get to that point.
Well, it's just a matter of practice.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of stance, it's grip, it's, are you using iron sights or red dot?
Iron sights.
Yeah. So you may want to try red dot. I mean, as your vision starts to go over time, a red dot will really help.
My vision's gone, so red dot would be good.
Yeah, red dot will fix a lot of things.
I thought Odell was white the first time I met him.
Odell, do you shoot as well?
I do shoot. I don't shoot as much as I used to because I haven't found a place in South Carolina where I moved.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to get settled. Didn't know that moving, transferring from one place to another, it's a lot. It's a whole lot. It's a lot more than I thought. That's a question though. Deportation, everything's going on right now. ICE and, speaking of guns, the gentleman who got killed in Milwaukee, not Milwaukee.
Oh, yeah. Minneapolis.
Minneapolis, he had a gun on him.
Yeah, he had a gun on him.
So you're going to a protest with a gun on him.
Yeah,
and
not
not
real smart.
saying good,
Smart.
bad, right or wrong. ICE is nothing to play with right now. That's not who you want to play with, because I just don't think that's what you want to do, Bill.
Well, I think if you're going to carry a gun, you don't want to be kicking out taillights on ICE's car and protesting. I think, Marty's been to protest. I've been to protest. And the best thing you could do is just become invisible and just watch it. And once you get activated on it, and if you're carrying a gun, it's dangerous.
Yeah, I think if you're peacefully protesting, that's a great way to protest. If you're violently protesting, bad things are going to happen. I mean, it's just bad things are going to happen.
Yep. Yep.
And now I do believe everybody has the right to bear arms. And so I would not
I agree with
begrudge someone the right to carry a weapon. However, I would say to do that, if you're going to do that and you're doing that to protect yourself and you're peaceful, that's great. If you're violent and you carry a weapon or you engage with people, bad things can happen.
Mm-hmm. Like that. Somebody hollered gun. And those folks are taught when somebody says that, they all go in offense because they want to neutralize it. They don't know who it's being pointed at, where it's at. It was still in the guy's holster, but nobody knew that. And so if somebody's got a gun pointing at you, you're going to take the offense.
So if I wanted to be an ICE agent, and I'm not saying I want to be one, I go down and demonstrate my ability to do whatever I need to do, and I get a $50,000 signing bonus.
Do you? Wow.
Wow. I didn't know that.
I thought so. Maybe I'm wrong, but a $50,000 signing bonus. That's interesting, especially if I'm unemployed or what have you. I can use $50,000 tax free.
Wow.
In American dollars, not crypto.
Wow.
Bill, you might need to look that up, Bill, because I might get that one wrong. So I don't know. Yeah, ChatGPT.
Secretary for Homeland Security was let go.
Oh, I forgot the young lady's name. What did she do?
Christy Nome.
What did she do? What did she do?
The claims are regarding a $200 million advertising contract, I think was one of the issues.
Yes, you're right.
$200 million? Did she give it to Odell? Who got the contract? Who got the contract?
And I don't think all of that was a problem. I think there was a subset of that, a very small part that was to someone that was related. And I don't know that that anything was done wrong. So it was just a bad optics more than anything. I don't know that it was actually any sort of
she was a star in it.
Crime or anything.
She was wearing her cowboy hat, riding a horse.
250 million?
215, I believe.
Yeah, 215
million or 215,000
million.
So wait a minute. You can't make this stuff up. So someone gives someone a contract for $250 million, and that individual gets fired, but the other individual's under contract. So we're going to Aruba.
The ads have already run, so they already spent the money.
Yeah.
Yes, I think the criticism was that it was very much promotional for her, and the other criticism was someone related to her somehow had a small contract. It was not the full. It wasn't 215. It was like $7 million or something like that.
Just $7 million. Just $7 million.
Yeah.
So,
What's
but again,
Odell when they're passing out the millions? Where's Odell? I'm not in the room. I'm not in the building. I'm not in the city. I'm not in the state. Y'all holding out on the brother. Hey, have you ever been in a room where you got 15 million, Marty, just for being in the room? Bill, is this a white thing? What's going? Is this a white thing that you got to be in the room? Black folk don't be in the room where they giving out $1 million contracts?
well, I think we got to shout out to Kelly because he's about to get some major money back for his tariff refund.
Yeah, tariff refund. He told us millions of dollars he's going to get back. I think, he needs to buy us lunch at least, right?
Yeah, he's that's a good rebate. I'll take a tax rebate like that. That's awesome.
Kelly, you gonna pick up the check, baby? You gonna pick up the check, Kelly? Are you gonna pick up the check? That's all we want to know.
Yeah, I think it'd be a long time before he sees that money, unfortunately. There's a lot of legal hoops to go through to get that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, it does accrue interest, is what I've read.
Oh, wow.
So it accrues interest. When the government owes you money, it accrues interest back.
Well, maybe we should take Kelly to lunch, and then when he gets it, he can take us out for a real
Yeah,
nice
that's
dinner.
it.
Marty, didn't you have a settlement where you getting a zillion, trillion, million?
Yeah, I continue to fight my fight. It's a fight the power.
It's in a bill, right?
Marty fighting the power.
Now, how do the lawyers charge for that? I mean, because
Very expensively. When you pay for really good attorneys, they are not cheap.
Huh?
Yeah.
And do they don't wait for the settlement? They want their money up front?
Oh, no. Yeah. It's funny. I used to not believe in contingent fees. I was a big proponent of tort reform.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've always believed in paying my attorneys as you go. Now, when you write enough zeros out there, it starts to change your mind. But yeah, just even this year, it's $250,000 so far this year.
Wow.
I mean, it's a bunch.
That's a big number.
Yeah.
That's another Tesla.
Yeah. But
Or two.
you fight the fight.
Yeah.
You fight the fight. And and you fight the fight so that eventually other people don't have to. And that's what it takes sometimes. And I've seen this happen time and time again. You have a lawsuit, you push, you fight for whatever right you're fighting for, and then they will change the law and change things so that it doesn't happen to other people.
Yeah.
Marty, I heard that the Red Cinema, where we had a long time ago, welfare reform, and I ran that program, had a big old event there. Excellent. I've eaten more popcorn there than I'm proud to say. The Red Cinema, Marty, not cinema.
Yeah.
Not cinema. You pull the plug on the cinema?
Yeah. So there's a couple elements to that. One is that rail easement goes about 20 feet of it goes through the building itself. And that's a tilt-up concrete building. So you can't really change that very easily. You can't just knock out the back wall. If it was a steel structure, it'd be different. And so that's part of it. The other part of it is my plan for that whole project was RED stands for Restaurant Entertainment District. And so the idea was retail, restaurants, apartments, hotels, office, all clustered around it. And now that can't happen. So what I need to do there is I'll need to take that building down, try and save the art panels through there and use those in another way because they're tilt-up concrete, so you can actually use a crane and move them around. Or I can have artists come back in and repaint, but we'll pull the building close to the road and keep it out of any further easements. And so that just, that it's a change of plans. You roll the punches, like we talked about the Stoic mentality. Something bad happens, you deal with it. You don't dwell on it. You don't worry about it that much. You
move on.
You pivot and you deal with what you need to.
That's
so
absolutely right.
And in the long run, I think having the building pulled close to the road with retail maybe on the bottom floor, apartments above it, it'll be even better.
I think so too. Yeah. I think you're right. And plus, movies are kind of going away.
Yeah, streaming and everything else. Remember,
things changed after COVID. I mean, in 2020, the world changed and people stopped thinking that they wanted to be in a close proximity to other people. And they wanted to stay home and watch more movies on their own. And you're also seeing a lot of these studios buying each other and doing more streaming platforms. Yeah. And so they're doing direct release to TV.
Yeah.
What was the name of the place, Marty, when you could first go out and rent a VC, a little cassette? What was the name of it?
Blockbuster.
Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Yes, Blockbuster. Man, boy, I used to go in Blockbuster. I was like a kid in a candy store. You in Blockbuster, and then all of a sudden, Blockbuster went away.
Yeah.
And then we had these little red boxes outside of CVS and stuff, and that went away. And now streaming. So as an entrepreneur, Bill, as an entrepreneur, Marty, you have to stay ahead of the curve. But how do you know? Like I said, I'm playing with AI, and AI is spitting out some good stuff. Now it's blowing smoke up my butt, but I like it. It feels good. But I mean, how do you stay ahead of the curve when you're comfortable? Because we know what we know, but we know we have to do something different.
Well, you've got windows of opportunity for investments, and things change. I mean, everybody's getting worked up about some of the restaurants closing downtown. Like, restaurants always close.
Yeah.
You're going to have a churn. Not everything is going to last forever. McCool's was there for a long time.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's just normal turnover. It's not anything unique. It's not something odd. It's just, that's a life cycle.
Yep.
And we see that with everything. Because I'll ask people, I'm like, okay, so what's your favorite restaurant from 20 years ago? And do they have a hard time coming up with that?
K&W.
Most of them are there.
K&W.
K&W is closed.
Yeah, exactly. K&W. Yeah.
Well, to answer your question, how do you stay ahead of the curve? I think you talk to your customer. Your customers will tell you. And so you have to stay close. When you start getting away from your heavy users and your customers, you start losing that ability to pivot. Like my training company, we've probably reinvented it 4 times since I've owned it. Just because we had COVID, we had other things. The customers want us to train in their plants, just all kinds of different things that come on. And they want us to train different type of subjects. So, I mean, you just got to stay close to them. And people say, well, how heavily am I involved in that business? I'm heavily involved enough to stay close to the customer and delegate the rest.
So something along those lines that we've seen recently, staying close to the customer, listening to what motivates them and not being removed from them. Have y'all gotten your property tax reevaluations?
Oh, geez. Hello.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Now you in the county?
Well, I'm in the county for my house, but for my whole portfolio.
Oh yeah, your portfolio. I forgot about
in
that.
the city, no problem. I mean, it's we talk about owning our property, but really we don't. We rent it from Guilford County and City of Greensboro. We pay them 1.4% of the value each year for the privilege of owning it.
Yeah.
And I tell you, there's something fundamentally wrong with that. And it's because it's not all property. It's not taxing your bank account. It's not taxing your stock portfolio. It's just for owning something here that you pay a tax. And it's not consumption driven. So let's say you have a car and you pay a tax on that versus another car. You're not using the road anymore based on price of one car versus the other.
Yep.
You're not using the schools here more than each other based on the price of your house. And yet that's the tax. And it just doesn't make any sense. I really like the idea of activity driven taxing or costing, the idea of consumption tax or usage tax. Rather than property tax, because I think it's against our Constitution. And that'll be one of the next big fights I get into is fighting that fight. Because
you got a point. I lived up in Connecticut when I first went to the East Coast. And one of the reasons I moved there is the property tax was low. They didn't have a state income tax. So when I interviewed for a job in Manhattan, the fellow said, you need to live in Connecticut for those reasons, not New Jersey, not New York. And now the same house that I lived in then might have been $3,000 a year. It's $28,000 a year.
Yeah.
And the house isn't any bigger. It's just the tax went up. And that's not sustainable. That is not a way. We've got to come up with a different way to generate income for our schools and to run our county government. Now, can you argue that we're not very efficient in some of those things? Absolutely. Absolutely. But the fact is, you're still going to have some money to do those things. So I'm a proponent of a couple different ways. In Scouts, we tell everybody, build your endowment. So if we can build an endowment that's really, really, really big, like Harvard, that's spinning off cash, and it will lower your taxes. And it may not eliminate them, but it will lower them. So now you've got some income coming out, passive income coming out. The other thing is the Mormons did a great thing. They bought businesses that were making profit, and they were generating profit. They bought shopping centers and malls and insurance companies, and they wanted to buy the Marriott, and he's Mormon. He wouldn't sell it to them. But, you start thinking, could the government own a business?
Well, I think one of the problems we've got with government right now is mission creep. We try and do too many things, and there are certain roles for government to do specific things that private industry can't do. But there's a whole lot of things that nonprofits can do, like Samaritan's Purse,
Amen,
or Victory Junction, that solve these issues and are more efficient than government trying to do it. Government, a lot of times, waste tons of money in bureaucracy,
absolutely,
trying to solve problems and doesn't solve it. And we need more people like Odell solving the problem on the nonprofit side rather than the government side,
housing,
just layering in bureaucracy and spending tons and tons of money and not fixing the problem.
Yeah, I often thought that one of the big expenses we have now is building schools and maintaining them. We haven't maintained them in years, so they're falling apart. Is it possible that we could have people like Marty or the Sammets or other development company build the schools, and we lease them, and they maintain them for us?
Yeah, public-private partnerships.
Yeah. I mean, now we don't have to put out all that capital.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Did I tell you you're brilliant, Global? That's a great idea.
I got it in ChatGPT. No, I didn't.
So we're working on. I chair the Budget and Finance Committee at Chapel Hill, and then we've got a construction cost subcommittee, and we're digging into why things cost so much. And there's a lot of different factors that drive that, but red tape is a huge part of that. Sometimes it's also, we're going back into historic building and trying to save it. Like over at ACOC now Swan, and I think it's great that we want to try and save some buildings out there, but sometimes you really need to think about what the end user needs. And, a lot of these buildings are just functionally obsolete. Yeah. They're not, they say when they're building a new public building, it's designed to last for 100 years. They're obsolete in 30 years. Yeah. So it's just silly to try and take an old building, pump a bunch of money into it, and then try and make it into something else. Now, I won't say that is my thought necessarily on the Dean Dome, but that another hot topic. But I understand. But the idea is you really need to think about. But I can tell you, Avery Residential Hall that I lived in as a freshman, that should have been torn down a long time.
It was bad when you were there.
Yeah, and then to tear it down, and then you not tear it down, but to come back and try and fix it, you wind up limited by that building. You spend a bunch of money. You spend maybe 150% of what it would cost to build a new building.
Oh yeah, and
so we've just got to rethink the outcomes.
But I agree. I was talking to somebody about our Coliseum, and we've gone in with a bunch of people and got it in a box, and they were talking about the ability to get good acts to come there, or the inability, I should say. And I said, well, what's the problem? I mean, what's the issue? It's the luxury seats. The luxury boxes are really, really old, and they can't retrofit them. So the best thing to do is tear the thing down and build a new one. And with luxury seats, that's where they make their money. They make a lot of money selling those.
I agree, but I went to the Dean Dome the other day to watch Clemson and University of North Carolina Chapel Hill play, and that's the whole conversation was about. One side want to tear it down and the other side want to renovate it, and it's like those people who have lifetime seats. The gentleman who I went with, he took me, and it's like, Marty, I mean it's real. So other than Carolina beating Duke, that was the hot topic at the time. Yeah. And so what do you on the board?
Yeah.
Do you make those decisions or are those athletic decisions?
Well, athletics typically are kept out of the Board of Trustees general control. It's handled by the chancellor, the head of athletics, and oftentimes the president of the system. So we've been briefed on some of the different options recently, but for the last year and a half, while all this has been going on, we've really not been part of the discussion. So we're
How
hearing
about
more
Bill
and more about it.
Belichick? Is Bill Belichick part of the basketball discussion, or Bill's got his hands filled
I think
with
people are
Bill?
talking about Hubert more than Bill right now on the basketball
Tell you
side.
what,
And
man, you can't win as a
yeah,
Carolina coach. Y'all pay them well, but y'all will fire them in a heartbeat.
I've seen that all throughout the UNC system. When any team is losing, the first thing they call for is firing the coach and firing the AD. And it's like, come on, somebody's got to lose, and also you got to look at the. I think you have to look at the student experience. You have to look at, are you running the program correctly? I mean, you don't have to look back too far with the Weinstein report to see when people thought it was only about winning. So, I came into UNC Board of Governors in 2013. One of the first things we dealt with is the Weinstein report, and that surely is not the way to win. And I have resisted.
What is the Weinstein report?
So basically, it was a lot of, they would say not cheating, but it's bending the rules. I would say it's not what you would want. It's not what people would call the Carolina way.
Okay.
And so you had, people doing these paper classes or signing up for programs, and they've said, well, everybody could sign up for it, so it wasn't a problem. But that's BS.
Yeah.
So I'm a big believer in, really what I think we need to do is call it what it is, which is, now we're in the era of professional sports, at least in the money sports. For basketball and football, we are feeder pipelines for the NBA and NFL, and we should just acknowledge that and go with that.
Yeah, the minor league.
Give people a certificate or a coupon to come back to school when they're able to do it. But I can't imagine, when I was at Carolina, if I had to try and be the best in the world at something and have all that pressure and do that in addition to going to class, it would be a lot.
Yeah, it's a full-time job.
And so I have a lot of respect for our student athletes, but there's a whole lot of pressure on them, and you can't make it only about the winning, because then you are not living up to the Carolina way.
Well, let me ask you a question. When you were there, who was there? Phil Ford, Michael Jordan? Who was the players there?
So you had, oh my gosh, you had the first time that Mac Brown was there as coach. It was hilarious. I used to joke I'd go to the football games and I would spend more time looking back. I told him this too. I would spend more time looking at the people behind me in the seats than looking at the field, because the field was not going to have anything good going on. and by my sophomore year, I was in so I was 87 to 91. And so we had a really good basketball run then. And the basketball players were over in Granville. And they were the kings of the campus. They ruled the world there, and were, big characters and did well, and just, everybody rallied behind them. So basketball was king at Carolina during that time. Football, not so much.
What's the name of the street when you all win a big game?
Franklin Street. Yeah.
Have you ever been on Franklin Street, Marty?
Oh yeah, plenty of time.
Tell me about Franklin Street. Tell us about Franklin Street, Marty. What do you do? We drinking?
Well, they're not now. Yeah, the drinking rate has gone down substantially. But yeah, back then people would go to He's Not Here, Players, different bars along there, and then
Rat Skiller.
Yeah, and watch the game and go out. I think it's a good thing alcohol consumption is way down among this age group, and they're not doing as much of that. Says who? There was an article in the Daily Tar Heel, and a guy was talking about how he was bemoaning that party culture had dropped off at Carolina. But yeah, I think you're going to see, and we've got Carolina North, our new extension of campus, kind of like the Centennial campus at State, that will have a different feel. It'll have restaurants and different options there. I'm really excited about it. I think it'll create an alternative to Franklin Street, in addition to, it won't replace Franklin Street, but it will be another option, because right now there's really only one. So it'll be nice to have two options.
How does High Point Country Club University relate to UNC in the system?
High Point University?
Yes, I call it a country club.
I think they do a great job of marketing and customer service. I mean, they really have hit the nail on the head in terms of offering people things that they go back and tell their friends about, and the friends are like, "Oh my gosh, you get sleigh rides, you get cookies brought out, you get
two restaurants,
puppies, you get these restaurants, you get all this stuff." Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to go there? It's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's a country club. It's nice. It's not cheap either.
Now, I would take Carolina's academics over university any day.
Yeah, I think you probably got.
And I think it's a much more competitive school. We've got some of the best and brightest from around the state that come to Carolina. And I think that, for people that want the best school in the state, we've got the best option.
Yeah. What's the tuition there for now for an in-state?
So in-state is only about $7,000, 7,300, I think.
Wow.
And
that's for a year or semester?
That's per year. And you've got your fees on top of that. So you've got fees about equal to that, that kick in. But still very affordable compared to out-of-state tuition.
Yeah. I mean, my high school is close to that price point, $14,000 a year.
Wow.
Yeah, you're getting, you're about a quarter of what you would pay anywhere else.
Yeah, day school is more than that here in Greensboro. And but if you're out of state,
and we also have, a lot of financial aid as well. That's merit-based. So you've got a lot of great options.
Now, out of state is probably significantly more.
It is, yeah. It is. And I'm a big proponent of charging out-of-state full price because we are the university for the people of the state of North Carolina, and that's our constitutional commitment to them.
Good for you.
To provide the benefits of the university to the people of the state as free as practicable, not the people of other states.
Yeah. I grew up in Ohio. I have hundreds of relatives in Ohio, and my daughter decided to go to Ohio State as an out-of-state. And I tried to make the argument that, I'm a Buckeye, and I didn't win that argument. And we paid out-of-state tuition for Ohio.
Wow.
And it was, I budgeted for in-state. It's nowhere near that. But we got through it. We figured out how to do it.
Well, it's interesting, Bill. One of the things that you were sharing with me before was, Odell, you know what? My business is booming. I mean, in the middle of everything going on, prices on gas or what have you, your business is booming. The economy is, I know we talked about a little bit of inflation, we talked about unemployment, but all in all, my business is booming. I mean, things are happening out there. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of President Trump, but I'll say this. Everything he's doing is not wrong.
No.
Everything's not right, but everything's not wrong. And I think that's kind of what Kelly was stating earlier for those who was known as that, hey, as Americans, we have to be Americans. We can criticize, we can input, but as Americans, we have to be Americans.
Yeah.
Because there's people out there who would try to wipe America and our democracy off the face of the earth if they could.
Yeah, I'm reading a good book. I was with a guy, Temple Sloan, this week, and we were talking about scouting and stuff. And we got done, and he said, "Bill, give me some." He's 89 years old. He just bought a business in January for $40 million, and he's rebuilding it. I mean, the guy is just an entrepreneur. And he said, "Give me a nugget." And so we started talking about George Washington. I think
the nugget like gold for the 40-something million, or nugget and knowledge?
Knowledge, something to share with them.
Okay.
And, at 89, good for him. And, he said, I was telling about George Washington, and I was studying up on his leadership style. I wanted to see, what was so special about George Washington. And he said, you need to read a book by Bill O'Reilly. It's about all the presidents. And he does a chapter on every president, and maybe 20 pages, and talks about what they do and maybe something unique you didn't know and all those things. And so I listened to it today. I downloaded it and I listened to it. And he was talking about George Washington. You know what George Washington's biggest headache was? Not his teeth. That was a big one. That was his teeth. Because he couldn't talk, because he was afraid his teeth were going to fall out.
Wow.
He was very self-conscious, and plus they hurt. It was his mother. his mother wore him out for money. And she kept claiming that she was on poverty, she was poor, and he had brothers and sisters. They were all supporting her. She was perfectly fine. She even wrote a letter to the Congress saying that she was destitute and they needed to give her a pension. And George Washington caught wind of it and sent a letter to the legislature and said she is not penniless. If she has any needs, the family is more than happy to take care of it. And you think about somebody like that, he's, of all the things he's dealing with, the one thing that burdened him the most was his mom.
Well, what did you do to Tucker Carlson? What did y'all do to Tucker?
Tucker.
What did y'all do to Tucker? I'm seeing Tucker. I'm like, is that the same Tucker? What did y'all do to Tucker?
He started dating the Homeland Security lady.
Because Tucker is like, he's mad.
Well, you know why? Because he's not getting any press. He's kind of got pushed aside.
He still is very influential. I mean, when you start looking at where people get their news,
Yeah, they like him.
Several of these folks are very popular.
Yeah,
and,
yeah. Well, they have a following.
Yeah, you get these folks who've got big personalities and they get a following.
Yeah, they get a following. You know, we have
like Common Ground podcast.
Yeah,
big following.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go. Speak it, baby.
Now
Speak
you're
it.
talking, preach it, baby.
Yeah. But Tucker, I was somehow, I probably spend more time on my phone than I should from time to time. But sometimes you can get the latest and greatest news on your phone, not just stations. But I saw Tucker on there once. I'm like, Tucker's like, he's mad. He's mad at the Republican Party. And I'm like, wait a minute. Tucker was the Republican Party. So what happened?
Well, I think there's always a lot of splits, and it's in both parties. And you're seeing, folks within the party kind of divided out in each party out there.
Yep, absolutely.
And you definitely see it during the primaries, right? Yeah. I mean, that's when you see the biggest splits between parties. That's when they're trying to differentiate themselves.
Yeah. Politics is funny. I remember I was sitting talking to one of the local mayors, and, she said, politics is, my word, I don't think she used that word, but a dirty sport. And I said, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. We could still have differences of opinion, different viewpoints, but we can keep the boat moving forward. We don't have to sink the boat.
Yeah.
And people want to sink the boat.
Blow it up.
Have y'all had any of the new council on?
No, we haven't. We'll probably bring them on. We'll probably bring some of the new people.
I've met with a couple, not on the show, but I've met with a couple of the new council.
What do you think?
Interesting. I think that some of them came in, rah, shish gumbo, I'm going to do all this, And then they went in the meeting, and then the attorney for the city says, Odell, if you say something about some confidential information, you could open yourself up to be sued, and you could open the city to be sued. And I think they put a piece of paper in front of them to say, okay, let's sign this disclaimer that if you go out there running your mouth, Odell, and something come back, is not on us, it's on you. And I think the reality of it, because those seats, it's a lot of pressure comes with that. It's a lot of pressure. Speaking of seats and pressure, Mr. Gobo, any announcements you want to make about running, or what's the latest, sir?
Yes, I want to make a big announcement for everybody. I just ran down the street to my neighbor and picked up some bourbon and brought it back. It's as far as I'm running.
I haven't followed because I'm not in the city. Any major changes in terms of your district with school board or anything like that? Were any seats up for this year?
No, it doesn't come up for, I think, 2 more years. And
so we just had 2 of the county commissioner seats, I think, were the only 2.
District 3, which is the same district.
7.
And 7. Yeah. Yep. And it's Derek Mobley is the Democrat and Pat Tillman's the Republican in District 3. I don't know who the other people are.
Walter Johnson is one of them in D7.
Oh,
and
is he?
He lost by a very small margin. I think he's requesting a recount.
Oh, wow. Well,
I think he would have been great. And he spoke up strongly about property taxes too.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah.
Well, Pat has said we need to look at making it tax neutral.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing you said that. And Derek, who I know them both. Derek ran against him when Pat was school board, and he only lost by 40 votes. So it's going to be interesting to see, what's going to happen, particularly with the tax thing.
Yeah.
If Pat votes for something that is in somebody's pocketbook, that's a big problem.
Well, Marty, Epstein's files. What do you think?
Hey, were you on? Can you,
What are
you
they-
can put people's names in and see if they're in there? Did you put your name in to see if you're in?
No, I know I'm not in there.
I put Odell. I put
don't worry
Odell's
about it being in there.
You put Odell's
I
name
put
in there.
Odell's in there.
And what popped up?
Nothing.
But think about it. And not trying to be funny, maybe I missed this. Out of all the Epstein's pictures, I didn't see any black people in there. Did you?
Oh, really?
Did you?
No, he's right. He's right. I haven't seen too many of black people.
Black people wasn't invited to the Epstein to Fantasy Island.
Did he invite young women?
No, I didn't see any black women either.
I know.
So he was like
nothing.
racist across the board in
I don't-
terms of his
I'm not talking-
invitees
listen,
and his girls.
I don't know
well.
what he was, but I'm just based on the pictures I've seen. I haven't seen anyone to look like me.
Yeah, I never noticed.
And usually in America, when there's something bad happened, you see a black person. You see a black person. Come on now. I sit there sometimes and something happened on the news and I'm like, oh my God, they're going to show the picture. Hope he ain't black. Hope he ain't black. That's the way it works. But I haven't seen a black person at Epstein. I'm sure it was, but I didn't see it. Maybe you all saw it.
Was not looking for that, but now that you mention it, I have not noticed anyone. Yeah, that's
Yeah, we'll have to ask ChatGPT on that.
is Epstein racist?
Yeah,
It wasn't racist. Epstein had a lot of problems. I don't think racist was one of his problems.
Well, he could have more than one problem. He could have that and other
so
problems.
two things could be true at the same time.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
So Epstein went to prison and he allegedly killed himself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. The young lady who was his girlfriend is in prison. They were going to make a deal with her, but obviously the deal didn't work. So now she's still in prison.
Yeah, but she's in a more of a country club type prison. She's not in a difficult prison.
Say it ain't so, Bill. Say it ain't so. How do I get in the country club prison?
After she talked to Trump's attorney general, she got moved.
Oh,
Well, a lot of those federal ones are more country club.
kind of moochy poochy. Yeah.
I remember going through when I was at Carolina and in this one class, and they took us through Central Prison.
Mm-hmm.
And boy,
That's
you don't
hardcore.
want,
That's
you
bad
don't want,
stuff.
and they walk you right through the middle with everybody there.
Screaming at you.
And then afterwards, no, everybody was very nice. But afterwards, they show you all the shanks and weapons that they have. And like, great. Because if they'd done that at the front, it'd be like, no, we're not going through there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was,
nobody didn't whistle at you, Marty. Did they? Did they say fresh meat? Any of that kind of stuff? Anything, Marty?
you don't want to go to prison. Yeah, you don't want to go to prison. I'm sure Epstein, well, I don't know. Epstein wasn't young, but I don't know. Maybe he was somebody's type and he didn't like that.
God, oh my God, Marty. Epstein wasn't someone's type. Well,
It's amazing the people that got caught up in all that.
The gentleman,
Prince Andrew.
Prince Andrew is like, Prince, what's going on with you,
He
man?
was a regular. I mean, he had a frequent flyer number for this guy.
Michael Jackson wasn't even invited.
But he's black.
Well, apparently it's because Epstein's racist, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't say that. Allegedly, I just said, and it might be some pictures of some black folk. I haven't seen the pictures. Now
Maybe at Diddy's party.
Oh.
Now, you know what? Do you see many white people at Diddy's party? Have you?
No. It's interesting you would say
Maybe it's
that.
when you have these freaky parties, people only invite their own folks to come in for that. I don't make some
see any Vaseline. What was it? Baby oil or something? I don't
Baby
know.
oil.
I
Baby
didn't
oil.
see any baby oil at Epstein's party either.
Well, it was hidden in the back. It was called Young Girls Oil.
baby oil. That's funny. No product placement there for Epstein's Island.
No,
they're not
no.
selling any.
You're not going to get
Any
an
baby
endorsement.
lotion there or
An
anything.
Endorsement.
But it was interesting when they brought Hillary and Bill Clinton on. I'm like, because at first they said,
they do that. That's stupid.
No. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that they dragged President Trump into a courtroom, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you could tell how furious he was and how humiliated he was.
You mean President Clinton or?
No,
No,
Trump.
Trump.
Oh, Trump when
he
he was
was
there.
going through that. With
Well, and Clinton definitely was too. He was not.
I mean,
Yeah.
they dragging these guys in there. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think the black president, my man, Barack Obama, was ever showed up on any pictures either.
No, he
Nope.
was clean. He was
Yeah.
clean.
So they didn't invite Barack either?
Well, I don't think Biden.
Well, apparently,
Biden didn't make it.
you know the reason why now with Epstein.
I know the powerful men. Barack was powerful. So what is different about Barack and everybody else who got invited to the island?
Yeah.
Well, we don't know that he wasn't invited. We know that he didn't go.
Yeah.
Apparently,
We don't.
I think that probably has more to do with his
No
character.
pictures.
Yes,
No, he's not on any
he's
list.
and he doesn't have any scandals like that out there.
No. Biden.
Put his birth certificate. President Trump said the birth was the birther movement.
Birther movement, where he wasn't born in the United States or American citizen or something like that, and that's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
They're not going to try to deport my man, are they?
No, a little late for that. A little late for that. Hey, by the way, you went to Africa.
Went to the motherland. I went to Ghana. I went to I had a ball. Africa is different. Africa to an African American is different. I enjoyed Africa. I enjoyed coming back to America more than I enjoyed Africa.
So that's part of Black Africa.
That's part of Black Africa. Yes. Ghana, Benin. I mean, it's interesting when you look at it and you think about all the minerals that Africa that's there, right? All the wealth, all the riches. And you see like folks just taking it from the continent. And it's like, what is it? And then you go to the slave castles and you go to all that, and it's just chilling. And you just understand that people do things to people that shouldn't be done to people.
Yeah. And you look at like the Rwanda genocide. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, people killing their neighbors with machetes.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
I agree.
And that's one that Bill Clinton was involved with that in terms of being involved with the UN and not wanting the UN to go in and get in the middle of it. And he's mentioned later that it's one of his biggest regrets. But it shows that people from other countries sometimes don't get involved unless there are resources that matter in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Rwanda was a prime example of that.
Yeah, I think you're right. So how long were you there?
I was there for 12 days.
Mm-hmm.
We flew in afraid to really eat the food per se, other than those that was in quote unquote certain type of restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't eat anything off the streets. Afraid of malaria, just afraid of a lot of stuff. Didn't really get sick. That was good. But at the same time, very careful. Didn't drink anything other than bottled water or some kind of bottle something. The people were nice. Everyone was nice. But people look at you as rich Americans. And, it was just a different experience. It was a good experience for me at the time. Something that was on my bucket list. So I did that. Now, I got to put some other stuff on the bucket list, man. What's going on with the bucket?
What was the cuisine in Ghana? What do they eat?
It's a lot of chicken. It's a lot of beef. It's a lot of lamb. It was a lot of vegetables, though.
Is there a delicacy there that?
Not that I'm aware
Anything
of.
like French cooking or anything? Was it, what colony was it? French?
It was French to a point. Ghana is somewhat French on West Africa, but it was a lot of vegetables, just a lot of fruits and vegetables. And food tastes different because the food there doesn't have a lot of the preservatives and stuff that we have over here.
Yeah.
But one of the weird things about it, when I first got there, I saw people carrying things on their head.
Oh, yeah.
They carry things on their head. And coming from South Carolina, low country, Geechee Gullah, you remember that from a little kid where people in the neighborhood may have carried things on their head. So it just shows you the direct correlation between Africa and African Americans who came here enslaved. So it's real. It's a pipeline. It's real and everything else. And just the whole idea of, I saw my cousin there, Bill. I saw my cousin.
Really?
Because all Black people look alike.
Have you done any 23andMe?
Nope,
That's kind of
I don't want to do 23andMe. Just something about giving the government my DNA is bad enough. When I go through international airports, they make me give them my fingerprint, and I'm funny about that kind of stuff
Well,
too.
now it's facial recognition too.
I guess they
really
looked
good
at
with
my
that.
face. So they looked at my pretty face, pretty Ricky baby. So listen, they looked at my pretty face. So what can I say? So face recognition is like, oh, that's a good looking black guy. What can I do?
Have you traced your ancestry?
I haven't
That'd
traced
be
it.
fun to do.
I trace it from that perspective, but not, I'm just, my wife asked me this question too. I'm like, I don't want to give the government my DNA. Now, not that I'm not stupid. They have DNA, they have everything else. And I tell people all the time, they're like, well, your passwords are simple. I'm like, listen, I don't have girlfriends. I don't have to worry about my passwords. I think if the government wanted to get an Odell's phone or Odell's computer, I think they could figure that
Well,
out.
just send it in and put the name Bill Goebel on there.
That's a great idea.
And then it won't be linked to you.
Oh, hey,
Wait a
on
minute,
DNA,
wait a minute.
Bill Goebel,
Wait a
here you
minute.
go. He got some black in him. Goebel has some black in him.
Well, that will confuse them because there's already 5 different samples of my DNA they have.
Or Bob Smith or
Yeah.
whatever you want to make up. You don't have to have
Kelly
it
Hart,
You can put
Kelly
a different
Hart.
address in there, all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Has you ever did it, Bill?
Yeah, I did it.
So what do you do? You just swab your lips. You swab. What do you do?
That's just saliva.
Yeah, saliva.
And you send it to them.
Yeah.
Okay, send it to them. That's
have,
it.
have you done it?
Oh, yeah.
Marty, tell
Yeah.
us about your background.
No, it's really interesting.
You got any black in you? Any
Well,
black
we
in
all
you?
do.
I do not have. I'm thinking everybody has trace sub-Saharan, but I don't have any percentage out there. But the odd one for me was there was like a very trace Asian. So
Asian.
yeah, I know, really,
Wow.
right? But I'm like vast majority English and German. So
Interesting.
that's like 90% of my makeup.
Wow.
And then through,
Wow.
or not 90, but it's like 80%. And then the other 20% is all through Greece.
Wow. Wow.
So
Bill, would yours come back as?
I was black. No.
Okay, yours came back to you black. You were 100% black. Bill Goebel, the good looking black
I was
guy.
charcoal, baby.
There you go. There you go.
No, they came back the Middle East, where Israel was,
Ooh.
Croatia.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of Croatian, some German, and a little Irish. But it was mainly Middle East along the Adriatic and all the way down to Israel, that area.
Huh.
And it kind of showed, I don't know what yours did, but mine kind of showed migration
yeah.
paths. And mine came from Africa, the northern part of Africa, through Israel.
From Black Africa.
Yeah, Black Africa, I think.
It's your ancestry.
Yeah, I'm embracing it. I'm embracing it.
There you go.
You might be cousins.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You never know.
well,
You never know.
His family came from Albemarle,
Abbeville.
and Dory's grandparents, great
Came from
grandparents,
Abbeville.
came from Abbeville and had a cotton plantation.
Yeah.
And your family, where did they work?
I don't know. I need to figure that one out.
Well,
Yeah.
there was nothing else down there but cotton. So
Nothing was cotton. It was
Yeah.
nothing
They didn't
cotton
have rice.
and no rice down there. It was interesting. In Abbeville, you just reminded me of something. In Abbeville, and this is not during slavery time, I would just say during Jim Crow, a lot of times the poor white folks would work in the same cotton fields as the black folks. It was interesting how that would happen. You pick cotton, and I remember one family story that my grandfather, went to World War II, kind of outspoken, NAACP. And one of the gentlemen who was friends with my grandmother, he was a young white guy, he joined the Klan. And he was, so proud of joining the Klan and everything. And he came and told my grandmother that the Klan was going to come after my grandfather because he was trying to register black folks to vote and stuff like that. So in the midst of all the different layers and what one believes or not, black people and white people has always got along in some circles.
Mm-hmm.
Some circles, but at the same time, you have to separate. Society makes you separate in some cases. But that was interesting because I hadn't even thought about that for years, Bill, until you just said it. And that's one of the family stories that's been passed down for a long time, just a long time. It's like you could be a Klansman at night, but during the day, you out there sitting with old Black people eating their food and everything else because that's who you all grew up with working together, families. Because I think in some cases it was more of a socioeconomic situation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, skin color got involved because that's where you can manipulate people. But if you're poor and you're out there picking cotton for somebody, this Black person picking cotton, this other person picking cotton, you trying to, provide for your family, then it's interesting how those relationships happen.
Well, that's why you need to do the 23andMe, so you can see if there's any connection from South Carolina or connection back to Bill's relations in Northern Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never know. You might have.
You never know.
Our paths could have crossed a couple
That's
times.
right.
Hey, think about this. In a lot of cases, they used to call them wet nurses, right?
Yeah.
So you had a Black lady breastfeeding white babies.
Mm-hmm.
And just imagine what would that look like at a time when Black and whites couldn't even mingle and socialize, but people felt comfortable in a way in some instances. So it's life's complicated.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Love is even more. Romeo and Juliet is more than that, because people fall in love with who they fall in love with.
Yeah. Yep. We're getting near the end here. I think before we end, you need to give a shout out to Will because he'll be listening to this.
Will, my man, Will went. I started to say Will went Black and he never come back, but I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say Will is my man. Will is my man. Will, how you shaking, baby? How you shaking and baking, Will? What's going on with you? We miss you. We miss you. We miss you. And you know we love you.
We love you, buddy. Love you. Marty, you want to say something before we close out? You got anything?
No, gosh, we've covered so many topics today. We've really covered everything. It's always fun chatting with y'all because, you think about the number of topics we covered today, and a lot of these are very controversial topics. And yet we could sit here and have an easy conversation about all of them.
Yep.
And nobody got worked up. Well, of course, Kelly wasn't here. So Kelly might have been a little worked up if he was here.
Kelly's worked up, but Kelly's our guy. Kelly's the guy who wears short pants in 30 degrees, below zero weather. Kelly's going to wear, have you ever seen him with long pants on?
No, I haven't.
But Kelly also is very passionate about that, but he doesn't begrudge somebody else their view on something too. Yep. So I think, he brings a fun, spirited side to some of these conversations.
Yes, he does.
So hopefully we'll have him on, or y'all have him on, and we'll have a chance to.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
Y'all, because Kelly's a heart of gold. You have to be here, Maverick. You're the Maverick, baby. You're the Maverick. You and Elon Musk. You think you could bring Elon with you next time? What's Elon doing anyway now? What's he doing now, Maverick? You hang out with Elon?
No, I don't hang out with him, but I appreciate him. He's making robots, right?
Yeah, he sure.
So pretty soon you're going to have a robot in here fixing your mic over here that breaks. It's going to break down, fix it. You have a heart attack, it's going to fix it.
What? A heart attack?
Yeah, no, I think these robots are going to be not only. I think that's going to be the biggest thing is you have a robot in your house because you figure it can be programmed with whatever knowledge you can program in, and if it could save your life. Everybody's going to want a robot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Will my robot be black?
Huh?
Would my robot be black?
I think people have different color choices for sure.
Yeah.
Well, the Tesla,
white.
The Tesla is only what did you say? Is aluminum? What is it?
Stainless steel.
Stainless steel. So will my robot be stainless steel, or my robot be black?
It won't rust.
I need a black robot. I need a robot that look like me.
Well, the question is, do you want a robot that looks like you to serve you, or are you wanting to have someone else, a stainless steel robot, instead serve you?
That won't rust.
Black don't crack, baby. Black don't crack. I need a black robot to come in and be a part of the family. It's almost like the Jetsons. Y'all remember the Jetsons?
Oh, yeah. It's going to be like that.
I'm telling you, man. I was a critic, but now I'm a big fan of AI. I'm a fan, and you can go down rabbit holes, but it's good.
We'll talk about AI next trip. We'll just spend a little.
Oh, yeah. We can spend a lot of time on AI.
Yeah, I think AI could be a fun topic. Okay, we're going to end. You want to say anything before we go, buddy?
No, it's been good. I enjoyed it. And for those who listen to us, we just want to say thank you. It's always good to take a hiatus and kind of sit back and relax and all that kind of good stuff. And, you know, it's always good to be here with the Maverick. You know, the Maverick's like, listen, yeah. The Red Cinema, Odell, I know you love it, but hey, go get something else. We're going to do something over here. We're mad. We're here. And Bill's like, listen, he's not saying he's running for school board yet, but, you know, we know Billy Boy got something up his sleeve. He got something up his sleeve, and it's going to be interesting to see how the race comes out with Sam Page and Phil Berger, because I don't know, man. I don't think Phil's going to go down like that. I don't think Phil is just going to take a knee. I think Phil's going to fight it to the hithers and everything else. But I don't know. But the question is, Marty, why was it close in the first place? Everybody loved Phil at one time. What happened? Things happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and this could be a long topic, but for a synopsis of it, I think you had someone that was in that community that really, I mean, if you don't necessarily have to go to your job that much, you can go around and kind of glad hand a lot during the day.
Dog, buddy. You said he was campaigning on the job.
Well, no, I mean, I think when you're you live and work in one city, you're not having to go to Raleigh to work, and you're there, and you can go to lunch and you see people and go to barbecues and stuff like that, and you kind of glad hand around. For some people that matters, and for other people results matter. And I think for me, you know, Senator Berger has made this state so competitive, and it's the reason that so many people are moving here, so many businesses are opening up here, the tax environment, the regulatory environment. You know, he's been a huge architect of all that. And, you know, I think that some people are just removed from it and they take it for granted. And, you know, they want somebody that, you know, went to their barbecue last week instead. And I think it's very short-sighted.
Speaking of that, Bill, is Mr. Robinson coming back? Is it going to be Robinson's Neighborhood again? What's going on?
I think he's dating the lady from Homeland Security. Christy, no.
You've got everybody dating.
Yeah, she gets around.
I think you might have a thing.
Allegedly. Bill, don't get us in trouble. Allegedly. But Mr. Robinson, look like he's trying to make a comeback. What do you think? That was a hard fall for him.
I don't think he can make it.
You don't think my buddy Mark can make it?
No, I think Mark Walker has a better chance.
Well, Mark Walker is doing all kind of great things. The last time I checked, he was shaking hand with the Pope.
Yep. Poppy. Papa John, we call him.
Last word, yeah. Mr. Goebel.
Well, it's been great to get this back on track, and we'll do it once a month and enjoy each other's company and talk about stuff that's a hot topic. And you guys, thank you for your talk. Have a good night.
Sounds great.
All right, Kelly, we'll see you later, Kelly. Hey, Kelly, we're going to pass you the check. You know, hey, everybody ate. Kelly, you're going to pick up the tab. Thanks.
Find Bill and Odell online at thecommonground.show. This podcast is a production of BG Ad Group. All rights reserved.
Attention men, here's an important new podcast you need to be listening to.
So this whole issue about prostate and prostate health and all the challenges that we're having with it, but no one's talking. So that's the reason why I started this podcast, so we can talk, so we can get understanding. I understand I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical individual. I'm just an ordinary, normal guy who had some issues to say, hey, let's talk about this thing.
P is for Prostate with Odell Cleveland. Download anytime where you get your podcasts. And join for the full podcast at www.patreon.com/Odell Cleveland.
Whether you're a big, medium, or small business, managing and growing the bottom line is important. Focus CFO brings the experience and financial acumen of a Fortune 100 Chief Financial Officer to your company at a fraction of the cost. P&L help, internal reporting processes, or any business transitions or events. Focus CFO will help you and your team have a CFO in your company's back pocket. Focus CFO. Learn more at focuscfo.com.